you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarsh. Fiji and China business interest grows significantly. And US naval ship USNS Mercy arrives in Fiji. But first up, the Vodafone Fiji side has bowed out of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup after going down 3-0 to Uzbekistan in their last group match. Fiji needed a draw in the match to make it to the last 16, but were outplayed by a more experienced side. Details of the match in our sports segment. And the Ministry of Education will be communicating with all schools tomorrow to find out the level of penetration on the game known to be Charlie Charlie, that is allegedly being played among students in classes. The Minister for Education, Mahendra Reddy, confirms this was brought to his attention on Friday, and the ministry is finding solutions on how to curb this matter immediately. Savara Tambua has more.
Be played by students either in the school premises. He says the ministry does not want to suspend students over this.
That we need to tell our teachers to undertake a detailed supervision of students both inside and outside classroom. We need to counsel the students. This is not something that we want to nip it in the bud. And we don't want to go there and start terminating or suspending students. What we want to do is to counsel them, but there's a limit to counseling. I don't think we would want to have students in classroom who will be disturbing other students. No?
Methodist Church of Fiji Communication Officer Reverend James Bagwan says the church is concerned because the game confronts vulnerable children who do not understand the consequences of the game.
Any parents who feel that their children have been affected like this to seek counseling from their local church, and even for those who are not spiritually minded, they would do best to seek counseling for their children.
The Fiji Police Force Chief Operation Officer Rusiati Tunrabu says the force is aware of the matter but has not yet received any report. He is also warning students to refrain from playing the game. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has acknowledged the Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, for its assistance to Fiji over the years. Bainimarama is in Rome attending the 39th session of the FAO conference and met with the head of the organization. Akasita Tale reports.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama met with the FAO Director General Dr. Jose Graziaro da Silva at the headquarters in Rome this morning. In congratulating the Silva's leadership for the past 4 years, Bainimarama says Fiji has benefited significantly from the assistance provided by FAO over the last 20 years. This is the assistance through the Pacific Islands Country Program framework, of which $8.3 million was granted to Fiji. The framework has helped facilitate about 20 local projects, mainly in the areas of agriculture, fisheries and forestry. Bainimarama has also signed a country host agreement to further strengthen Fiji's relationship with FAO. The agreement will enable FAO to establish an office in Suva as part of its decentralization policy. The Suva office will continue to report to the sub-regional office in Samoa. Bainimarama says Fiji looks forward to hosting an FAO representative in Suva as it will allow the organization to expand its presence across the region. The Prime Minister is expected to deliver Fiji's national statement at the FAO conference. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Bainimarama also presented the recently launched Green Growth Framework to the Food and Agriculture Organization conference. Bainimarama told international delegates the framework guarantees the ability to produce safe, healthy, affordable food for all Fijians at all times, and that it ensures that there is a balance between food security and sustainable development. Fiji's business interest has increasingly grown and advanced well in mainland China for the first 6 months of this year. Fiji's Consular General to Shanghai, Naomi Laweni, says despite many achievements, more work needs to be done before the year ends. Akasita Tale has more.
The increasing bilateral agreements and relations between Fiji and China shows the amount of work done to improve and strengthen the bilateral relations. Fiji's Consular General to Shanghai says the first half of this year has seen many positive exchanges in trade, investment and tourism between the two countries. The recent one was earlier this week between Fiji and China's most populous province, Guangdong, with more than $600 million worth of MOUs signed.
That is an indication of how China is serious about engaging with Fiji, and for us to establish the fact that we are the hub in terms of the services we provide.
Laweni says for the remaining months of the year, focus will be on increasing tourist arrivals from China.
That's one of the most important aspect that we're looking at, is to try and establish the direct flight, so that after having done that, and we feel it's one of the areas that can help in luring Chinese tourists.
Fiji is trying to establish good contacts in the business capital of China to ensure Fiji is marketed well. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
The U.S. naval hospital ship USNS Mercy arrived in Suva this afternoon for its first mission port visit under the Pacific Partnership 2015. This is the first visit to Fiji by a U.S. Navy vessel in 9 years. Eleanor Turangaivu reports.
USNS Mercy was welcomed by the Fiji police band at the King's Wharf upon its arrival. At hand to welcome the ship were senior officials of the Defense Ministry. During mission events in Suva, the multinational military and civilian personnel of the hospital ship will work together to conduct surgical screenings, dental screenings, health fairs for medical education, as well as conduct basic life support courses.
The one thing that we're really pushing is the health and wellness fair, which is going to be on the 8th and 9th at Sakuna Park. And so that's where patients should go, and you're going to have a whole variety of opportunity for care and more education aspect.
The medical team on board the hospital ship will also carry out surgeries in serious cases. Everyone is encouraged to use this opportunity.
Said that we won't turn anybody away. Patients will be seen, of course, but the screening starts between 9 and 10 at the CWM SOPD.
The team will also be carrying out civil engineering projects, including the construction of 2 schools, working with the engineers from the Republic of Fiji military forces. The ship, carrying over 1,000 personnel, will be here until the 19th of this month. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, dealing with climate change every day, Wadi villagers in Lakembalau want to relocate.
Wala wala sabati mai hana gana baru taki na yan rubangi kevika na mau to mai buka tali tu na bi serre wara ke muni na gana baru taki ngo na yan rubangi enam pula FM nimbolo benaka oya ubika na isoro ranyo na to mani mai na vito ne ka biki na tini karuan ng bangi lebu enam gana baru taki sekoya na yan rubangi enam pula FM enam bandua ena serre.
Welcome back to FBC News. Now, a village in the Lao group is reminded every day of the sad reality of climate change. It has come to the point where relocation is being looked at. Eleanor Turangaivu has the story.
Sea level rise, coastal erosion and flooding are not new to Wadi village. This shoreline has moved in more than 2 meters since the last 5 years, affecting homes and the livelihood of villagers.
Any small rain we have, together with the waves that are coming in, floods the village.
Today, villagers of Wadi want their village to be relocated. At a recent village elders meeting, a request was put forward to landowners for a piece of land where they can relocate to
to escape the devastating effects of climate change.
We realize that this village will indeed be destroyed by the rising sea level.
Wadi Wadi district, which has a roll of 59 primary school students and 19 kindergarten students, is badly affected. 2 teachers' quarters have been evacuated due to sea level rise. There is an urgent need for relocation.
Due to rising sea level and heavy rain, it causes flooding. So our classes are disrupted. We don't have PE lessons and sports.
The Climate Change Division, which comes under the Foreign Affairs Ministry, has been able to secure funding for the relocation of the school.
It's a 3-year project. And the requirement by GIZ, by EU, is we come and put together what is called the project design document. That is, we have to give in at the end of this month, and they'll go through, assess the project design document in a month or 2. And before the end of the year, we should see the project being implemented.
If all goes according to plan, the relocation of Wadi Wadi District School will take at least a year. Seeing that climate change has become a daily intrusion in their lives, planting of mangroves and building a seawall cannot stop this phenomenon from destroying the village. There is no time like now to act. Eleanor Turangaibio, FBC News.
Premier International Sporting Events hosted in Fiji is marketing the country to the global audience, says Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya. The World Surf League, which boasts millions of television viewers and the best surfers in the world, is being held in Fiji. Christopher Chand reports.
It's the 5th stop on the world circuit. The Fiji Pro has become one of the major attractions. Surf spots like Cloudbreak and Restaurant are internationally renowned.
I think the fact that we have this on a yearly basis is just absolutely phenomenal. The reception that the surfers get here every time they come here is just too good. There's no better in the world. And I think in terms of surfing, they consider this place to be the best place in the world to come surf.
The opening ceremony of the men's competition was held yesterday on the famous Tavarua Island, following the completion of the women's division last week.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, this goes out to about 8 million viewers around the world. And so that's a huge marketing exercise for Fiji as a destination.
Fiji, I think, is probably one of the more favoured places for the surfers. In terms of the wave, it's a challenging wave. Really test the skills. So for someone who's going to win a world title, this is one of the more important stops. We come here and everybody wants to win, but at the end of the year, this event everyone looks back at it as being amazing.
A further boost for the sport on the local scene is the inclusion of 2 of our own surfers as wildcard entries.
The last 2 years I've been learning a lot of things from them, but I gotta try this year to beat one of the world surfers. That's going to be a big history in Fiji.
Fiji hasn't had that strong surfing presence, but it's developing now and becoming a lot stronger. There's a lot more good surfers coming through.
Tourism is Fiji's largest industry.
Pacific Island countries have significantly high import bills. Many import vegetables that are not grown during the off-season. A 4-day workshop on regional farmer training on technologies supporting off-season vegetable production concluded recently in the Western Division. And Christopher Chand tells us more.
Part of the workshop was field visits, including a trip to Nandarivatu in Tavua to look at farming techniques used in the highland region.
The idea is to try and relate what we talked about in the classroom and the real field situation out in the field.
Nandarivatu can produce throughout the year is just because of the weather condition, of the climatic conditions that we have, that we can produce vegetables throughout the year.
Participants who have come from other island countries hope to take lessons from here to their home to help boost vegetable production during the off-season.
We have dry season and wet season. So using of the shade cloth and the screen and all that will help That's the idea and the thinking that I have, that when I go back home, I would like to encourage farmers to build shade cloths like this during the sun and during the rainy season as well.
Monsami Naikar has been farming for 20 years. From his experience, there are many challenges.
The dry season come, it's very hard, no river, nothing. So I've got the bowl, even I haven't got the electricity here, but I'm using my generator. It's cost me much.
The Pacific Island Farmers Organization Network, or PFON, is encouraging growers to learn techniques and new technologies to help vegetable production during the off-season. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
From the streets to the sky, in our successful Fijian segment tonight, Chanel Sivan speaks to an interesting individual who has gone through all odds to be where he is today.
Henry Wangavakatonga had many struggles in life. When he was in high school, his father had retired from the army. He did not want to be a burden at home, so he started shining shoes in school to cater for his expenses.
I had to do something to provide for myself, so I usually shine shoes in school for my... I still remember my friends. I used to shine their shoes during lunchtime and recess time, and I usually sell this. You know the monkey's ball, the beach? Yes, I usually do that every time. So on Fridays, I usually come home and give it to my dad, give the money to my dad, and he's always asking, "Where did you get the money from?" They never knew I was doing those things. I was just telling them, God is providing. God is providing.
The 22-year-old from Namuka in Kandavu was part of the Fiji Link's first birthday celebrations at Ratu Sukuna Park yesterday when I met him for the first time. The humble lad says he became a bara boy or a wheelbarrow boy for over 2 years after leaving high school to further support his family and his newborn son.
Well, my brothers, they applied for it. I didn't know what job the flight attendant was until I joined the airline. One of those guys was asking me during the interview. They asked, "Do you know what a flight attendant does?" I told him, to be honest, no.
Wangavakatonga came to Suva yesterday and met up with his buddies at the Suva market.
From the streets to the sky. Tell us the journey. It was challenging. Yeah, it was really challenging, trying to change that mindset of being a wheelbarrow boy to being a flight attendant. The person that was interviewing us, China's, Miss Voss, she asked, "What were you doing before you came?" And I told him I was a wheelbarrow boy. I could actually see, I still remember those faces, how they face, they were surprised. During the training, it was everything, the whole thing was just new to me. But what kept me going on was my son. I kept on thinking of my son. This is for my son. He's 3 years old now.
This is Wangavakatonga's first year with the airline, and he thanks the former General Manager Shainaz Voss for giving him the opportunity to what he is now.
You have tasted success. I can classify you as a successful Fijian.
Thank you, sir.
What would you like to tell the young people out there in search of a job, in search of life, what to do in life?
Sky's the limit.
Henry dedicates his achievement to his now 3-year-old son, his family, Fiji Link, and to God. We have to have a dream if we are going to make a dream come true, just like the bara boy who became a flight attendant. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC Sports, Fiji under-20 loses to Uzbekistan in last pool match. And Ratish Lal wins Pineapple Cup.
देश की धड़कन रेडी फीजी 2 का ये प्रसारण आपके लिए कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत हम कर रहे हैं। याद रखते अभी से लेकर रात 12 तक यह सिलसिला हमारा और आपका चलता रहेगा। दृष्टिकोण में आपका हम स्वागत कर रहे हैं। दृष्टिकोण के तुरंत बाद आगे बढ़ते हैं कार्यक्रम में। इधर कहते हैं कि गहरी थी रात लेकिन हम सोए नहीं, गहरी थी रात लेकिन हम सोए नहीं, दर्द बहुत था दिल में पर हम रोए नहीं, कोई नहीं हमारा जो पूछे हमसे, जाग रहे हो किसके लिए या किसी के लिए सोए नहीं। याद करा दें, गीत संगीत का तकाजा आपके लिए रात 12 तक, आपको हम सोने नहीं देंगे। महकती रातें हर सोमवार से लेकर शुक्रवार तक रात 7 से लेकर 12 के बीच रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर रविंद्र सिंह के साथ।
The Vodafone Fiji football side has bowed out of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. This as the side lost its last group match by 3-0 against Uzbekistan. Germany topped the pool with 9 points, while Fiji, Honduras and Uzbekistan all finished on 3 points. Uzbekistan qualifies as runners-up from the pool with a better goal difference. The Nandranga rugby side defeated Madhuwata 36-5 in round 3 of the Skipper Cup competition yesterday. Nandranga has bounced back from its first round loss to Netasiri to register back-to-back victories. Meanwhile, Suva, Namosi and Nandi still remain undefeated after 3 rounds. The 4th round will be played next weekend. Ratish Lal took out the 59th ANZ Pineapple Cup at the South Pacific Bowling Carnival, which finished at the Suva Bowling Club today. Lal defeated Abdul Kalim in the final by 21 points to 14. Sai Walker took out the women's title as she defeated Loretta Kotoisuva 21-6 in the final. The committee is looking at ways to make next year's event bigger and better than the previous years. Suva Primary School's netball competition entered its 7th round of competition yesterday. Suva Primary School looks good in all the grades, winning majority of their matches. The age grades being competed include the under-9s to the under-14s. And the competition continues next weekend. World Surfing League Fiji Women's Pro Champion Sally Fitzgibbons now gears up for the next leg of the event at the United States of America. The 24-year-old surfer from the New South Wales South Coast defied medical advice to continue to compete despite suffering a perforated eardrum and later the women's title for the 2nd year in a row. Fitzgibbon says competition gets tougher every year and Cloud Break has been a great build-up.
Next, it's great. We have a short break, so I'll be able to heal my perforated eardrum. I'll go back home, and then we head over to the US for the next leg of events. We have the US Open of Surfing, and then an event at Trestles. So back to performance surfing. You know, the waves will be a lot different to here, but that's why we love coming here. It's something truly unique, and we can't wait till next year.
She wiped out going for an epic barrel ride, but still produced 2 rides, scoring above 9 out of 10 to win the final 18.56 to 14.40 earlier this week. Fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over Solomon Islands and extends southeastwards over Vanuatu. Meanwhile, a broad easterly wind flow prevails over most of the Pacific Island countries. In temperature, Savu recorded the lowest temperatures today, hitting 29 degrees, Lambasa the highest with 32 degrees. And for tomorrow, cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, it should be fine. Onto the outlook for Tuesday, fine apart from brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Recapping our headlines, Ministry of Education warns students against playing demonic game in school. Fiji and China business interest grows significantly. And US naval ship USNS Mercy arrives in Fiji. Onto our poll question this week, should retail opening hours all over Fiji be extended? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.
Great words there from Lucky Dube and Baban. I hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you on Gold FM Only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.